You mentioned ASIC's been mentioned previously, and they've just yesterday closed their consultation on guidelines for robo. And notwithstanding, some of your organisations may have submitted to that consultation, but what, in your opinion, what would you like to see the way that this sector is governed or managed going into the future? Is there any top-line comments that you would have that you maybe even included in the consultation back to ASIC?
Our view is that pleasingly the federal government's taking a view that they're channel agnostic to this. So, the requirements of RG 105 apply regardless of whether that advice is done through a digital channel or whether it's done through a phone or human-based advisor. And we support that wholeheartedly. And you've still got to deliver advice within with a client's best interests in mind and the client's best interests test. So that's the general thrust. It also talks about supporting, as I mentioned, sort of modes of advice and how a member, as we all call them, or a customer will move through the various channels. So it needs to be able to facilitate that. So that's assisted or supported digital advice, which it does. I sit on the FSC Advice Board Committee, and certainly that's the position that they're taking as well, is that it's got to support that sort of omni-channel experience.
So one of the things that we're very keen in making sure ASIC, and I agree with Matt, it's got to be consistent, but it can't be what they tried to do with the benefit projections and make us all sort of sing in the same tunes, because I think that's one thing that ASIC should have learnt by now, is that it's impossible to try and make that sort of advice, and benefit projections is a very small part of advice, and it became a very difficult program. So I'm hoping that they've learnt from that program as much as we have, and that they're actually moving down the whole omni-channel, but also allowing some field play around assumptions and around the way that advice is given, because that's the way advice is given on a personal level.